Hello. I swear I keep coming on earlier and earlier because it doesn't work this quickly. Maybe being prepared is the way forward. It is definitely lighter in the evenings now. My God, that light coming in through those windows. So hopefully as we get going, that will calm down a little bit. So you'll be able to see me a little better. But I think I've got one of you there. So just let me know if you can hear the usual stuff. I'm just going to casually stand up and see if I can get my head in the picture. I feel like I've been moving my camera around a little bit. Oh, look, I'm there somewhere, aren't I? It's like I'm being beamed up. Yeah, she'll do. Okay. I'm on the creaky floorboard, obviously. Oh, blimey, that light. I'll have to work around it. Sort of do some work in the middle and not on the sides. And hopefully it will get a little bit better. I might move the camera just a touch, just because I've got a lot of the stuff in the front, but let's go see. Let's see. Just a touch. There we go. How's that? Yeah, can't see anything. There we go. Oh wow, yeah, that's very hidden. Who have I got? Who's there? I ordered some blinds for these windows. I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago it feels like now, but they've not come yet, I'm afraid. So I'm gonna have to try something, aren't I? Maybe I'll put some towels up there. That would look really good, wouldn't it? Really professional. Okay. How are we doing? Getting there. And hopefully you can hear me and it's all okay. Bar the fact I look like I'm being beamed up. It's okay. So I've done the golden rule that I normally say to people of try not to eat too close to your yoga class. And I've just had a massive bowl of gnocchi with loads of vegetables. So we'll see how that plays out for me. I did pour the glass of wine, but I promise I didn't finish it. That's all I'm saying on that matter. I'm going to sit somewhere in between these two beams of light and hope it can focus on me. Amazing. Okay, so I hope you've had a good day. I feel like it's Monday, and I know it's not. It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. So I feel like I've got a bit of energy I need to get rid of today. I don't know about you. So we'll keep it kind of nice, little juicy flow. We'll get moving around a little bit. I just, you feel like you've not moved half as much as you normally do. So it's kind of in there somewhere with gnocchi. So yeah, I'm going to give us a bit of a stretch out and just a tiny bit of cardio. We shall see. We shall see. I say all these things and I might just be too hot and have a nap. Okay. Cool. Well, we're near enough there, aren't we? I would say it's basically 7. So I haven't got any props out or anything, but if you did want your cushion, anything like that, then feel free. Just going to move my gubbins out of the way so I don't kick them. Okay, and I reckon we'll get going. Yeah? So seated pose then for me to start. I'm going to try and go somewhere in between these two beams. There we go. Sitting up nice and tall. And we'll just start with that first big deep breath all the way down to the belly. So as you breathe in, just feeling that belly expand and lift. And as you breathe out, just letting the body relax. Then we'll take our 3 breaths to tune in from there. Bringing the hands down to the sides. Take that big inhale to float all the way up, nice and tall. Easy exhale out the mouth. Brings the hands down to the chest. And we'll just plug those thumbs into the heartbeat. Just see if you can find that rhythm. 2 more times just the same. Big inhale floats you up. Easy exhale softens you back down. And one last time. Big inhale. Easy exhale. And while we have the thumbs on the heartbeat, it's a good time just to scan through the body and just notice how it feels. Maybe the temperature of the skin, maybe any feelings running down the back or into the hips. We'll then just draw their attention towards the breath without changing it too much, just noticing it's maybe high in the chest, maybe a little lower in the belly. Excuse me. Maybe it's quick or slow. And finally the mind. I just want you to notice how you feel right this moment. Then whenever you feel ready to, we're going to bring those hands down to the knees with the palms up and we'll warm ourselves up. Sitting up nice and tall. Start with that inhale to turn the head all the way over to the right, just a stretch into the neck. And then as you exhale, going all the way over to the left, taking that stretch as deep as you can. Big inhale takes you back, breathing all the way down to the belly. And again, that exhale will soften you over. Just nice and slow, side to side. Closing the eyes if you're comfortable and happy to. Or just softening the gaze. Focus on drawing the breath down to the belly. On that next inhale over to the right, we can then exhale the head down into that semicircle position. So we start by relaxing it all the way down, looking in between the legs, and that stretch in the neck and shoulders, and then easing up to the other side. So nice and easy, nice and slow. Just starting to bring the head down, relax those shoulders as you look down, and easing up in your own time. So let's take one more of those and center up whenever you feel ready. I think my neighbour's kids are outside at the moment and it sort of sounds like they're trying to murder each other. So I hope they're having fun rather than murdering each other. There's a lot of screaming going on, so I'm going to zen that out. From that pose, we're just going to take a little stretch actually for your shoulder blades, so into your chest as well. I'm going to sit up for this one just a little bit so you can see. So if you're comfortable to, you can come onto your knees, but if you're happy in that seated pose as you were before, then go for that. What I want you to do is take one hand, so I'm going to take my left hand and then take it behind my body so it rests onto the side of my waist. So if I was to turn around, there you go. So I'm going to slide my hand all the way over so it's just nestled on the other side of my waist. From there, I'm going to hold hands with myself. So that will help you wiggle it over a little bit further as well. So you should start to feel this stretch in your shoulder blades from there. Once you're in that position, there we go. I want you to think about this elbow that's sticking out over here and trying to draw it backwards. So you should be able to feel that right in your shoulder blades into your shoulder socket itself and across the chest. So I'm just opening everything out. So if I come to the front, there we go. So I bring that arm over, hold hands with myself, sitting up nice and tall. Take an inhale and see if you can send that elbow back just a little bit. Good. Take an inhale once you're there. And then as you exhale, we can release that elbow and then release the arms. Give them a bit of a shake. We'll do the same thing over to the other side. So I'm going to take my right arm this time and thread it all the way over so it's coming onto this side. And then I can take my left hand and just kind of wiggle it across a little bit. If it's near the center of your back, so if you feel like you can't quite get over towards your waist, then that's absolutely fine. It's just focus on bringing that elbow back a little bit. So you can kind of wiggle it across, sitting up nice and tall. Take that inhale, see if you can draw the elbow back. Good. Take one more breath in. And then release. Good. Then we can just start to release those hands. Coming back into our seated pose. And we're going to move in towards the waist. I'm also going to have a little twist at the same time. So I'm going to just change things up a little bit for you. So I want you to bring your right hand down. Inhale the left hand nice and high. And then as you exhale, see if you can soften over to that side. Hopefully you can see past that beam. There we go. Remember, in this position, if it's more comfortable too, take both knees in that same direction. And we'll start by having our little movement backwards and forwards. So if you lean forward, sweeping the arms to the front, bringing the head down. Just see how that stretch feels for you today. And we can start to open everything out, looking up towards the ceiling and sending that arm behind you. Okay. So just take that little forward and back, finding any spots that feel good to linger. Just rest there for a bit longer. Then if you're leaning over towards your right hand side, I want you to take your left hand onto that right knee. So it should be going sort of across the body. And then as you inhale, lift all the way up, bring up your right hand, and then exhale it over. So we're trying to get a little bit of a deeper stretch and almost a little bit of a twist here. So I'm just bringing myself over. Sweep your body forward just as we normally do. You can start to release your left hand and bring it down. And then we can open all the way out to the back. From this point, you might find that that hand just wants to release over to the side, just as we normally do. Just adding a little bit of extra movement in there, just a little bit of a difference. See how it feels in the body. And we can open out. And I want to do the same thing for the other side again. So I'm going to take my left hand onto my right knee. No, that's not right. Too many lefts and rights. I'm going to take my right hand onto my left knee. Take a big inhale, lift up, and then exhale it over. Good. There we go. We can start to lean forward, release, taking that hand away from the knee. So it's almost coming into more of a forward fold. So we start with that little lean forward. Then we can start to sweep over to the side a little bit, bring that right hand over to the side and open out. And then we're just back to those stretches as we did before. Okay. Bring both hands down and then slowly walk them to the middle of your mat. So we're still leaning forward, but we're coming into our forward fold straight away from this pose. Give your bum a little bit of a wiggle here just to ease down, either relaxing all the way down to the ground, or remember you can just cross the hands over the chest and bring your head up to a more comfortable spot. So just see what feels good. Give your bum a wiggle for me. I want you to take 2 big deep breaths here. So on that inhale, lift the chest, and on that exhale, soften down. 2 more. So inhale, lift up. Exhale down. And last one, all the way up. And release down. On that next inhale, slowly lift all the way back up to seated. So crawl yourself up. We need to place those hands behind you and start to open the chest here. So I'm leaning backwards, opening my neck and my chest. If you've got a little bit more wiggle room, I struggle with this because of my short arms. But I want you to see if you can lift your hips off the ground. So we're rolling onto the knees, looking up, sticking your bum up. So we're just getting that little extra stretch there. And then as you exhale, we can slowly come down. Good. From this position, roll over towards your right for me, and then send your left leg out at an angle. So we're just starting to stretch the legs a little bit. Good. From that pose again, have a little moment just to wiggle around to get comfortable. So we should have that left leg out nice and straight, toes facing up if you can, but you can just release them a little bit if that's a bit much. From that pose, we'll start with a little twist. So I want you to take your left hand over towards the outside of that knee, bringing the other hand behind you. Good. Take a big inhale, lift, and then as you exhale, just gently twisting behind and looking over that shoulder. That gave me such a good back click. That was amazing. Take a big inhale, twist it around. And then as you exhale, we're going to come all the way back to the front, bringing your body over that leg. And then as you exhale, gently forward folding over it. So nice and slow. Again, you can wiggle around a little bit. Maybe see if you can bring one hand onto one side and one onto the outside, just to help you line up with that leg. 2 breaths there for me. So inhale, lift that chest. And then as you exhale, just try and soften down. So it's not about getting those toes. We just open up the chest, lift up, exhale, relax the body down. On that next inhale, slowly roll back up to the top, and we'll move on to the other side. So I'm just going to rock myself over so that left leg can come in, and then my right leg can come out. Dear me, I'm going to move over to this side so hopefully it can focus on me, not be that massive sunbeam. So just have that little rock around again to start with. See how it feels. And we'll go for our twist. So I'm going to go across my body. So right hand onto that left knee. Other hand just tucking behind. So just got my fingertips on the ground. Take an inhale to lengthen. And then as you exhale, we twist across. I'm actually going to use my little step behind me just to give me a bit of a bigger twist. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, we're bringing ourselves back round. Just trying to line ourselves up to that leg. So you might want to just shimmy yourself around a little bit, lift those hips, and then slowly start to roll it forward. Can you see me? So 2 breaths again. I have my hands either side of my leg just to guide me so I'm on top of it. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, soften down. Inhale, we lift up. And then we'll just gently ease it down. Good. On that next inhale, gently start to roll yourself up and bring both feet together here. So we'll come into our little butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together, knees out nice and wide. Holding on either to the arches, ankles, or onto the toes, just whichever you prefer. And we'll lift and lower those knees towards the elbows just 3 times. Inhale lifts you all the way up. And then exhale, softens you back down. Good. 2 more for me. So inhale, lift up. And ease it down. And 1 more all the way up. And then ease it down. Good. We're just going to take that stretch a little bit deeper with a forward fold. What I want you to do, so I've got a hair in my mouth, if I can feel it, in this pose, is start to open your feet up a little bit like a book. So think of your big toes going away from each other, and hold on to the arches of your feet with your thumbs. From there, tucking your elbows in towards your knee crease. So we're just trying to tuck them in, and we're applying a bit of pressure from those elbows into the knees. I want you to take a nice big inhale, lift the chest, and then as you exhale, gently forward fold. Create more pressure from your elbows into your knees just to open up the hips, and relax the chest, the head, the shoulders, and just ease down. I want you to take 2 big deep breaths here for me. As always with those exhales, that's when we're just trying to ease it down a little bit deeper. On that next inhale, slowly start to lift your chest to release the pressure from the elbows. Gently bring the knees in towards you. Placing the feet flat, and then just have that little hug and rock side to side. Just to release the legs. Oh, it's getting worse. I promise I'm here. It's like I'm about to be abducted. Oh no. Grab a little drink if you need it. How am I going to get rid of that? Oh, blimey. And hopefully the sun will set nice and quickly tonight, and then I shall reappear. Is it any better if I open the window? What do you think? Is that wishful thinking? I can reach the window. Hey, that's not better, is it? No. Okay. Okay. You just hear the screaming kids more if I open it. Come back. To get myself in focus a little bit. Hello. Oh dear. Okay, well I best get on my left and right now so that you don't get a bit confused where we are. So I hope you're still there. I hope you can at least hear me. Which way is going to be better to face? Maybe this way. If I face this way, are you going to see me? A little bit. Maybe not so well. I'm going to come over this way. So I just want you to come into your box pose for me. So knees directly under hips and the hands underneath your shoulders. We're sort of there, aren't we? Okay. So our cat cows, we all know our cat cows by now. So a nice flat back for me, elbows tucked in, looking out in front. Inhale to lift your head and your bottom nice and high, belly low as you look up. And then exhale, curl it through to cat. So curling the spine, looking in between the legs, that big stretch into the shoulders. Take a nice big inhale, come back to cow. Remember to push the hands down as you look up. And exhale, curl yourself round again. Good. Let's go for 2 more like that. So inhale lifts you up. Push the hands down, look up to the ceiling. And exhale, curl it round. Taking those moving cat-cows from there. So in your cat pose, looking between your legs, slowly bring your bottom down to your feet. So we're coming down towards child's pose. You can lengthen the hands a little further away once we're there. See if we can bring the head down. Just soften those elbows down to the ground. And then as you inhale, gently come back up and finding your cow pose again. So hands underneath the shoulders, head and bum nice and high. We'll do that 2 more times. So curling the spine into cat, slowly bringing yourself down. Good. Maybe slide hands a little further away. And gently coming back up. And just 1 more in your own time. And finding your neutral spine for me. We'll have our little dog wags from there. So I'm going to take your little bottom and take over to one side. So bum over to your left and then over your left shoulder. See if you can see it. And then the same thing over to the right. So I'm just going to turn the head, turn your bum side to side and release the waist. Good. Coming back towards your neutral spine, we'll come up for our down dog pose. So move your hands slightly further away, curl the toes and take that nice big inhale to lift up. Bums nice and high, heels off the ground. Can you see me there at all? We're just going to focus on what I'm saying, eh? So from that pose, just walking on the spot, pedaling the feet. Just trying to slide all the way into the back of those legs, into the base of the hands. If it feels good, try taking your feet out to the width of your mat. Maybe even just shifting the weight side to side here. So leaning over to one leg and then the other. Just playing around with how it feels. If you fancy that little challenge, I want you to see if you can lean over to your left, pick up your right hand, send it back and touch your left leg. And then back to center. Same thing on the other side. So I'm going to lean to my right, pick up my left hand, send it over to my right leg, and then take it back. Yeah, bring those feet a little closer together. Just lift and lower 3 times to the balls of the feet. So inhale lifts you all the way up to your tiptoes. And then exhale softens you back down. 2 more times just the same. Big inhale lifts you up. Exhale back down. And one more time. Big inhale lifts you up. Exhale softens you back down. Good. Start to soften those knees. Slowly walking up to the top of your mat for forward fold. So move the hands to help you. Once you're there, feet hip distance apart. So 2 fists between your big toes. Knees nice and soft for me. We'll take our little ragdoll there. So bring hands to opposite elbows, relax the head down, and have that nice little sway side to side. Really try and shake the head out here. Relax those shoulders. Take a nice big deep inhale. And as you exhale, we're relaxing those hands all the way down to the ground. Can you see? You can just about see me. We're okay. From there, taking a little twist. So right hand to the outside of the left ankle. And then inhale the left hand all the way up to the ceiling, looking up if you can. Exhale back down. Same thing on the other side. So we cross it over. Big inhale to lift up. And then exhale back down. We're going to bring this into a chair pose. I'm going to move just a little bit further back, so hopefully I can not hit this unit in front of me, you can see me. So into our chair pose, taking those feet just a little bit wider. Start to bend your knees, stick your bum out, so all the weight comes into your heels. I'm resting my ribs onto the top of my legs, just so I can really practice sticking my bum out. And I want you to inhale, lift those hands up. Bring yourself down so it's in that sort of squat position. Oh, sun needs to do one. There we go. And then I want you to lift and lower for me. So inhale, lift it up nice and tall. And then as you exhale, soften back to your chair pose. One more of those. So inhale, lift it up. And then exhale, bend it into chair pose. Good. Have just a little shift of the hips. We're going to take a little twisted chair here. So I want you to inhale, lift up just slightly. As you exhale, twist to the left. So your right elbow is coming to that left knee. The hands can be touching in prayer pose, or we can just relax and open them out. In fact, if you open your arms, you're going to feel that little twist, that little stretch in the back a little bit more. We'll do the same thing for the other side. So take a big inhale, lift it up. Exhale, twist to the right. So the left elbow is coming towards that right knee. Same thing, we can take prayer pose, or we can just open it out. Okay, take a big inhale, lift back up to the center. As you exhale, bend the knees, come into forward fold and interlace the hands behind your back, resting them down. Then we'll take a little shoulder stretch. Take a nice big inhale, lift the hands up towards the ceiling, pushing those hands away, and gently swaying side to side. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, release the hands, soften them down to the ground. Bend the knees, inhale, roll up to stand, squeeze the tummy as you go. Head's the last thing up. Take that big exhale once you're there. I'm still here somewhere, I promise. Here I am. Coming into mountain pose for me. So bring your feet nice and close together. Palms out to the side. Take a big breath in to lift all the way up. And on that exhale, if it feels good, very gentle back bend. Inhale up to the top. Exhale, swan dive down. So hands to shoulders. Stick your bum out. Come down with that flat back and bend the knees as soon as you need to so those hands can come down. Putting a little space between the feet again. I want you to send that right leg back to low lunge. So just send it on back. Good. From there, have that little moment just to shift around. Coming into our twisted lunge. So right hand down. Inhale the left hand nice and high, look up. And then exhale, soften back down. Onto that open side. So big inhale, lift it up. And exhale back down. Keeping with the low lunge in your legs, I want you to bring those hands up just so you can feel like the legs feel nice and strong. Once you're there, staying low with the hips, inhale, lift your chest and bring your hands just to your center into a little prayer pose. Good. Now, a little test for your legs here. Keeping into that lower lunge. 3 times, we're going to see if we can get that right knee to bend so much that we can touch it on the mat and then push back to our lunge. So we're not going to put loads of weight onto it. It's like going to kiss the mat and then bring it back up. So nice and slow, come down. So you can just touch them, boop, and then come back up. Okay, 2 more for me. Nice and slow, come down. And back up. 1 more, because my other leg's wobbling. Good. And come back up. Sweep those hands down to the ground for low lunge. Push back to your down dog for me. So big push all the way back. Pedal into those feet. Breathe it out. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. So we're slowly walking up to the top of our mat for forward fold. Move your hands to help you. Make your way there nice and slow. Good. Feet hip distance apart again. And we can either take that ragdoll or we can just dangle it down, just dangle the arms down and have our little sway side to side. Whichever you prefer. Giving your head that little shake. Make sure there's no tension in the neck or shoulders. Take a nice big deep inhale. And then as you exhale, we're relaxing down. Little twist again. So right hand to the outside of that left ankle. Inhale the left hand all the way up. And then exhale back down. Same from the other side. So cross it over, big inhale, lift up. And then exhale back down. We're coming back to that chair pose. So feet nice and wide. Remember all the weight coming into your heels and sticking that bum out. So start to bend the knees, resting the ribs onto the tops of the legs, and then inhale, we lift it up. So really think about stretching the fingertips, stretching the arms away, and we'll lift and lower. Just big inhale, lift up, push through the heels, and then exhale back down. 1 more time, big inhale, lift it up. Exhale, soften back down. Then coming into our twist, big inhale, lift up. As you exhale, twisting over to the left. Right elbow coming onto that left knee. Either just pressing the palms together, or if you prefer, opening everything up. Good. On that inhale, we sweep it all the way up to the center. Exhale, twist the other side. Again, either keeping those hands together or opening out. Take a big and over, getting our shoulder stretch. Good. Take a big inhale. Exhale, release those hands down. Bend the knees. Inhale, roll up to stand. Squeeze the tummy as you go. Head's the last thing up. Big exhale once you're there. Good. Coming into mountain pose. Bring the feet nice and close together. Palms out to the side. Take that big breath in to lift all the way up. On that exhale, if it feels good, gentle back bend. Inhale up to the top. Exhale, swan dive down. Hands to shoulders. Stick those bums out and then slowly come down. From that position, you can bend the knees and then send your left leg back, low lunge. Have a little moment just to settle in. See how it feels. Good. And our twisted lunge once we're there. So left hand down, inhale that right hand nice and high. Exhale, sweep it back down. Same thing on that open side. Big inhale, open all the way out to the left. And then exhale back down. Good. We're coming up for our little high lunge, but remember we're keeping those hips low. So take the hands away to start. See how the legs feel. Once you're there, look forward. Inhale, lift it up. Coming into that prayer pose again, into the chest. I promise I'm still here. There's some legs there, isn't there? There we go. So that's the important bit for now. You just want to see that back knee coming down and just touching the mat. So okay, please start off nice and low. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, bending that back knee, touching the ground, and then pushing back. We're going to do that 3 times together. So take an inhale. Exhale it down. Push it back up. Good. 2 more for me. Slowly come down. If you're feeling wobbly, release the hands. Use them as a little guide. 2 more all the way down. Push up. I feel like I've added an extra one there. And push all the way down. And all the way back up. Good. Sweep those hands down. Ground them down. Push back, down dog. Pedal into those feet. Breathe. Take a nice big deep inhale. As you exhale, soften the knees down to the ground. Uncurl the toes. Rest back in child's pose. You can always take your knees out wide for child's pose. You can come into baby pose. You can just collapse, however you feel most comfortable, and take a few breaths for me. Come on, son, it's time that you went down. Am I still there? Okay, feel free to grab a little drink. I was sort of hoping that this might have gone down by now. I don't even know where I'd need to stand to get rid of it. Made it worse. Come on, son. Okay, so I might not be able to play you Fleetwood Mac, but I thought we still probably had to work the core just a little bit. What do you think? I feel like I need to. Okay, especially it's just been Easter. I've eaten like a whole Easter egg, so I'm definitely going to have to work the core a little bit, maybe. So what I was going to go for was some leg lifts. So working in particular the lower belly and the lower back. And I've gone for leg lifts because there's a few variations that we can do. I'll show you how we can take it up a notch as well by going for a leg lift and then across with the legs. So I'll show you what I mean, hopefully, and then back down again. So your options are, for a start, you get to just sort of sit there and hopefully see me. I'm going to come this way, so hopefully you can see my legs to the side. So for a start, when we do leg lifts, you're going to place your hand into a little triangle pose, and it's going to pop just above your bottom as you lie down. And that's just going to protect your lower back for you. So I'm going to actually take my watch off because I always find that sitting on it is actually not massively comfortable. So I'm going to take my hand into that triangle pose. It's going to come just above my bottom. So when I lie down, it's lifting my hips ever so slightly. I'm just going to move this and see if I can actually, you're about to see me or not. Ish. Okay. So we're lifting the bottom ever so slightly. If you wanted to, if you know that your lower back is a bit of an issue for you, you could lift one leg at a time. So you're going to lift the leg all the way up and very slowly lower it back down. And then you do the same thing on the other side. Just remember to switch them out. Lift all the way up and then all the way back down. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you're going to inhale, lift the legs all the way up to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, very, very slowly, bring them back down. Squeeze the tummy. Don't touch the ground, so we just hover above the ground. And then inhale to lift all the way up again. Okay? And that's what we're going to go for. If you're going for both legs, but that motion feels quite big, then I would say inhale, lift them up, bend the knees, bring the knees towards your chest, and then exhale, send them away. So hopefully you can see that difference. So I'm bringing up my knees and sending them away. If somebody wanted a little bit more, I want you to inhale, lift your legs up towards the ceiling. Then you take them all the way out. You cross them in. You take them out. You cross them in again. And then slowly bring them down and do the same thing before you get to the ground. So I stop about here, take them out, cross them in, take them out, cross them in, and inhale, lift up. Obviously, if you're going to go for that option, it's going to take you a little bit longer. So I would say go for 5 of those. There's my hand, 5 of those. Or if you can, we'll just go for those leg lifts all the way up and down there. Let's see how that feels. So whichever you want to go for, whatever suits you best. If you can play Fleetwood Mac or, you know, have a little sing song, then feel free. So we'll place the hands just at the very top of the bottom in that little triangle pose to start with. And I'm just going to go for that leg lift. So I'm going to take my legs out nice and long to start with. You can either flex or point your toe. You'll just find that one of them will naturally happen. Okay, squeezing the tummy. Just set up that's it, hips a little bit better. I want you to inhale, lift them all the way up, nice and slow. And then as you exhale, slowly take them back. So the aim of this is to really go nice and slow. Stop before you get to the ground. Inhale, lift them up. And then this is the particularly slow part. We want to slowly go back down. Nice and slow. Try and keep the legs nice and long. Inhale all the way up for 9. Exhale nice and slow down. Good. Inhale up for 8. So remember, you could just bring the knees up towards your chest if that's a little easier for you. And then exhale back down. Good. 7 takes you all the way up. It's definitely been a while since I've done these. And all the way down. Squeeze the tummy. Good. 6 takes you up. Breathe. And then all the way down. Good. Halfway. Inhale, brings you up. Now you know why I play Fleetwood Mac. Makes things so much nicer. All the way down. I've just got the scurrying of guinea pigs. 4 takes you up. Inhale, lift it up. Good. Exhale back down. Just 3 more to go. Big inhale lifts you up. Squeeze the tummy. Good. Exhale back down. I know I'm not squeezing my tummy enough because I can feel it in my legs. 2 more. Squeeze the tummy, bring them up. Good. Exhale back down. Last one, I promise. Inhale brings you all the way up. Exhale very slowly. Bring it down. I swear I got quicker. Hover just for a moment for me. Squeeze the tummy. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, you can collapse on the ground. Release your hands. Mine are officially squished. And then from that position, hug the knees into your chest and have that little rock side to side. So rock, quite a big rock onto your bum, side to side. From that position, holding onto the knees, I just want you to circle them in one direction. Good. And then round the other way. I feel like you can slowly start to see these. Well, now I'm all pink. And whenever you feel ready to come up, we're going to interlace both hands behind one leg and rock ourselves up. Oh, that was harder than it felt it should have been. Feel free to grab a little drink. Hopefully you all survived that and you're still with me. So often with those poses, or that stretch in particular, you can start to feel it in your legs. And I could feel that in the tops of my legs. That's because I wasn't engaging my core enough. So when you get those moments, just think about really squeezing the core in. And by that, you can think about if you had, say, a belt around your waist, so right tucked onto your waist, onto your ribs. If you were to tighten that belt slightly, how would that feel? So that engagement of the muscles to tighten everything in. And that's what helps to protect your lower back and to work those muscles as we lift up and down. But I clearly wasn't doing that. I could feel it in my legs. Okay, so we'll move into our hips a little bit and then we'll have a bit of a relaxation at the end. How does that sound? So I wanted to show you some variations of pigeon today. So it's tricky because I don't know who we've got with us tonight, but I would say that It's probably the guys that know me, so you know the poses that I like to do when it comes to hip openers. So if you prefer to take a different hip opener, then please do. I wanted to show you how to go into what's called a double pigeon. So that's when you take your back leg from pigeon and sweep it forward. So I'm going to show you what I mean, and then we'll kind of give it a go together. And do feel free to kind of come out of anything. Is that an ouch for double pigeon of what we just did? I'm going to give you a little sort of demo, if you like, and then we'll try it together if you're up for it. So if you remember in pigeon, so I like to come into it from our down dog split. So I would come up to down dog. We'll take down dog split with the right leg, bend the knee, all the usual, cock the leg, and then exhale, sweep it in. So that knee comes behind the hand, foot over to the side, drop and lengthen the back leg. So we're just finding that sort of regular pigeon. So once we're there, we'll do all our usual little bits of movement. If you wanted to practice, maybe grabbing that back leg, we're going to have a look at that one. And then to come into double pigeon, what I want you to do is lean all the way over to the side of your bent knee. So you're basically going to go to the side you naturally would. So you would come over to your bottom on that side. We'll take our back leg. We're going to sweep it forward. This is when I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm up to here. So it's around the back. I'm going to sweep it forward, holding onto my foot. I tuck it into my leg and bring that knee down. So there we go. Let me move myself around. So this foot wants to come up as high as it can, but it might be it naturally comes into the knee crease. It might come a little bit lower. It might not quite get there, but we just try and sweep it around and just see how it feels. So what this has done is it brought the stretch from one hip into the other hip. So I can now start to feel a gentle twist in this hip. Once we're down, we're going to take a little forward fold, again, just deepening the stretch in that hip. What I will say with our forward fold is if you don't like feet, you're about to be really well acquainted with your own foot. So if you don't like that feeling so much, you can skip this part. But what I want you to do is we would inhale, lift up, and then exhale, lean forward. And then we'll practice coming from one side, so stretching in towards the waist, and then the other side, which is where you're going to get very close to your foot, okay? So if that doesn't float your boat, then you can just skip that side. So that's going to be the double pigeon. And then to take the leg back, we lean over to our leg again. So the bum cheek we went onto before, send the leg back. So for this position, I would be here. But I won't be able to come out of this because my foot is underneath that step. So I'm just going to sweep myself around as casually as I can. There we go. And then we'll curl the back toes, lift the knee, and push back up. So it's just if you fancy it. If you fancy a little challenge, you can obviously, swear as much as you like or fall out of it because I can't see you. But I'm just putting it out there. If you wanted instead just to go for normal pigeon or reclining cobbler, you know that one, or frog or anything like that, then feel free. But if you're happy to, I just thought I'd give it a go, and you can just tell me how you got on if you managed it. Okay, so come into down dog for me to start with. Take your time. Good. Just pedal into the feet. Whenever you feel ready to, we take down dog split with that right leg. Take a nice big inhale, lift the right leg nice and high. Bend the knee, open up the hip, cock your leg. Exhale, sweep the knee through so it tucks behind your right wrist. And the foot is over to your left, okay? Drop the back knee down, uncurl the toes, and lengthen as much as you can. That's the important bit. That's where you're going to get your stretch. So you'll probably want a little bit of time just to even ease into this one. I can definitely feel my hips today. So just take a few breaths there. Have a little sway on the hips. You might want to just lean into it, come into that little forward fold. If you wanted to try for that stretch on the back leg, then I would suggest coming up really tall. I place my hand onto that knee just to lift me up a little bit more, bringing up the back foot. If you've got like sort of relaxed leggings on, a good place to start is just to hook onto your leggings and just see how that feels. And then over time, you can work towards that foot. It is a big stretch in the back of that leg, in the quad, sorry, of your back leg. So you just see how it feels. You could keep the hand down, but obviously if you can see that slight difference between being open up and then being further down, it's a bit more of a stretch for my leg. We can slowly start to release, and then we're going to try that little double pigeon. So leaning over to the right so your bum cheek comes down. Sweep the left leg forward, hold on to it with your right foot. So foot comes to opposite hand, tuck it in towards your leg, and then come onto both bum cheeks. So we're coming down. So now you should feel the stretch over in your left hip. Okay, have a little moment just to shimmy around. If this doesn't feel so good today, then we can just skip it out, just go back to a normal pigeon with phrases. Okay, sitting up nice and tall, and then we'll take our forward fold. So bring the hands down, take that inhale to lift up, and as you exhale, gently lean it forward. You might find that you need to stay up a little bit higher. So it might be that this is just a little bit too tight for the hips. And you can just have your little sway or movement around. See how that feels. Then we're going to just move those arms over towards the left. So I walk both my hands over so my body is over that left leg, a little bit like we were right at the very beginning of the class, trying to relax the body over the leg. Release the head down. See how that feels. And then we can move on to the other side. So keeping the head down, I'm going to rock all the way over. This is your side if you don't like your feet. I'm afraid you're about to get very close to one. And then bring it down. This should deepen that stretch again in the hip. So again, just take it easy. You can keep the chest up a little higher if you need to. Very slowly come back towards the center and then start to roll yourself back up. We're going to release that leg because you've probably got cramp already. So I want you to lean over towards the right, release your leg. If you can, send it back and come back into a sort of loosish pigeon pose. Ground the hands down towards your body and we'll come up, have a little moan and then go on to the other side. So curl the back toes, lift that knee, push back to down dog, pedal into those feet. Oh, I can feel that one in my feet more than anything. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side if you're ready. So down dog split with that left leg. Big inhale, lift the left leg nice and high. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Exhale, sweep the knee through. So knee behind the left hand, foot behind right. Drop the back knee, uncurl the toes, and lengthen that leg. So have that little moment, shimmy about. We're trying to get those hips to face down. And again, it's a good time just to shift the weight. See how it feels. Always my tighter hip. If you wanted to see about grabbing that back foot, okay, I'm going to take my left hand onto that left knee, lift up. Maybe see how it feels. It might help you to even turn the body. So I'm having a little twist here. I can take the leggings if I prefer. I can just sort of be in that general vicinity. You can take our little forward folds, ease it down. And then whenever you feel ready to, if you feel ready to and happy to, we'll try for that double pigeon on this side. So I'm going to bring myself all the way up, bring my bum cheek down on that left side, sweep the right leg forward, hold onto it with my opposite hand, the foot there, and then bring it down. So I'm just going to wiggle it around. See if that helps. So for me, sometimes it can actually be that ankle because it's quite a strong stretch into the ankle, so that can be more comfortable, and if that's the case, to bring it into the knee crease. Using my words here. There we go. Sitting up nice and tall, and we'll take that forward fold. So big inhale, lift up, and then as you exhale, gently lean it forward. See how those hips feel. Moving over to that little twist, so I'm going to walk my body over towards the right. I can even, so just there naturally, I've taken my left hand, held on to my right knee, and just twisted my body a little bit further, just to ease me down and get that stretch. And then walking over towards that foot. And get the stretch on the other side. Coming back towards the center and very slowly walking up. Okay, so let's see if we can release this side. So it never helps that I move my bum around. So from this position, I'm going to lean to the left, take my right leg, send it all the way back. Just a little loose pigeon. And then come back to down dog for me. So curl the toes, lift that back knee and push it back. Pedal into the feet. Good. Take a nice big deep inhale. And as you exhale, soften the knees down to the ground. Uncurl the toes and rest it back in child's pose. And you can hang out there for as long as you'd like. Grab a little drink. Make it a strong one now if you like. It's basically the evening, isn't it? I hope you all survived that. Okay. So we are coming up towards a little relaxation. And I know it's kind of getting towards 8 o'clock, so if that's all the time you've got, that's brilliant. If you can, I'm going to take just a shortened relaxation that we're actually just going to do seated. So shouldn't take as long as our general relaxation. If you did want to lie down as I talk you through this relaxation, then obviously you can. So just go for whatever suits you best. If you fancy a lie down, pop the blanket on, turn the lights off, then go for that. If you just want to stay seated with me and just have a gentle relaxation that way, that's fab. If you want to get to your glass of wine, it's all good too. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lean against this just behind me, just to help keep my chest nice and lifted. Another option would just be to lean against a wall, or I would come and sit onto a bolster or a prop, because that's going to help just to lift the spine as well, so just to keep you nice and tall. I'll tell you what, I will sit on my block, because then I can sit a little bit closer to the laptop and the microphone. So if I sit on my block, although I know it doesn't look particularly comfortable, get my bum on it, okay. There we go. It's just going to help keep me nice and tall. So I just want you to bring your hands onto your knees for me, palms facing down. If you're happy to, you can close the eyes. If not, just start by softening the gaze. We'll just start by taking those big deep breaths all the way down to the belly. Just noticing the movement of the breath. Maybe it's naturally in through the nose and out through the mouth, or in and out through the nose. You can just start to notice the feeling of the hands on top of the knees. Maybe the weight dropping into them as the shoulders release, the elbows soften. You can just have a moment to notice the sounds around us. Don't need to delve into them too much or pay them too close attention, but just notice what you can hear. If it becomes a little too distracting, we can just try and count the sounds. You notice a sound, count it, and move on to the next sound. Then just slowly softening the sounds out. We'll go back to the breath. Noticing as it passes the nose, goes down the neck, into the chest, the ribs, the belly. Just notice naturally that expansion, the lift in the body, and then the release as you exhale. If you can, I want you to inhale for the count of 4. Hold the breath at the end. And then exhale for 4. So together we could inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. I'm going to try a few of those just in your own time. If you notice the mind starts to wander, bring it back to the counting. Again, you can always visualize the number. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just allow the breath to go back to that natural state. Just as gentle rising and falling. Draw your attention now just to the body. Just noticing how the body feels. It could be a physical sensation. It could be a feeling of movement or energy in the body. Temperature of the body. And then going back to those sounds around you. Just noticing how many sounds we can count. Noticing their effect on your body, how they make you feel. And from there, we'll take our 3 breaths to tune out in the same way we tuned in. Bringing the hands down to the sides. Take that nice big inhale to float all the way up, nice and tall. Easy exhale out the mouth. Brings the hands down to the chest, to Just plugging the thumbs into the heartbeat. Find that nice, easy rhythm. 2 more times, just the same. Big inhale floats you up. Easy exhale softens you back down. And one last time. Big inhale. Easy exhale. And while we have the thumbs on the heartbeat, it's a good time just to scan through the body and notice how it feels. And then draw that attention towards the breath without changing it too much, just noticing how it feels in the body. And finally, the mind. I just want you to notice how you feel right this moment. And namaste. If you have your legs crossed, you're going to want to very slowly start to stretch them out, because we don't normally sit for that long in that seated pose. So do take your time moving, give your feet a little wiggle, and come off the block and just stretch out. Clearly going to have to get some blinds, and we're going to have to do this class a lot later. I'm going to have to move myself around in the house. Because it's still the sun going down. I mean, it's lovely, isn't it? It's nice that it's still sunny at this point. But I hope you enjoyed that. I've still got you there, some of you, so that's got to be good, hasn't it? And if you have any questions at all, please do send them to me. Let me know. Let me know how you're getting on with the live classes as well. I think there's one pre-record up at the moment for a little 20-minute flow that I did. But I've also done one that is our regular warm-up. So I'll probably pop that on tonight at some point. So it's there for you. So if you did just have sort of 10-15 minutes, then that'll be a good one just to stretch out as well. But whatever you'd like to see, do let me know. I'm kind of guided by you guys as to, if you want me to sort of carry on doing bits and pieces and stuff for you. But I shall leave you to your evening. I'm going to go back to my glass of wine and maybe some more Easter egg. And I shall see you really, really soon. So we've got one tomorrow again at lunchtime, just another short class. Friday morning again. And yeah, I can never remember past that. Something or other. But it was really nice to sort of have you all there virtually. And I shall see you really soon. Bye.